Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Donnie with Designs by Donnie, and today I'm dropping episode 3 on this epic dining table build for the Big Build Off edition for the Builders Challenge. I hope you enjoy this video, but let's get started. Let's go!
This video is sponsored by Rockler Woodworking. I decided to make a form, or a jig so to speak, for these sweeping beams. I wanted to come up with a way that was efficient, yet repeatable over and over for all these sweeping beams for accuracy. So I decided to make this mold. After placement of the beams in the form, I grabbed a precision straight edge just so I could make a couple of reference marks for where I'm going to attach this with the domino joiner. These reference marks will be for the tenons. This process was a little tricky as these beams have a slight contoured shape or a slight radius to them, hence the sweeping beam name. But the domino joiner is meant for 90-degree corners, and since this is on a radius, I had to overcompensate for my depth of the domino. So I did 12 millimeters deeper than I needed to for these tenons just to make up for the difference lost in the radius. I decided to only use tenons on one side of the beam. This isn't a shortcut because tenons don't provide any support or strength to the workpiece. They're just meant for alignment. So I need to be able to line these pieces up, glue them, clamp them, and then reinforce them with lag bolts. After a quick little dry fit test, everything is perfectly aligned. I like how it's seating together. So now I'm just going to take it apart and move on to the next step, which is going to be going to the router table. I want to route a 1/4 inch roundover all around the beams. I just like how it looks, especially with this old world rustic table. Let's make a couple of adjustments to the height on the bit, and then let's run all the beams through on all the sides and put a nice clean roundover on it. One of the cool aspects about being a video creator is you get to critique your work a little bit, and I noticed in my last video I was on the router table and my fingers were getting dangerously close to the router bit. So close that it almost made me bite my lip watching the video. So today when I was making this, I made sure all my hands and fingers had plenty of clearance. That's the upside to watching your own videos. I believe this part goes without saying, but let's talk about it anyway. Let's apply the tenons and the glue and clamp the workpiece down for 2 to 4 hours under equal clamping pressure. But I want you to remember, if you don't have a domino festal joiner, that's okay. It's a very expensive tool. You could use a doweling jig, or you could use biscuits, or you could completely skip that step altogether and just fasten these two beams together using lag bolts. Because you got to remember, the tenons or dowels, they're not providing very much strength or support to the workpiece. They're really meant for alignment. So I messed up. After getting all those beams done and clamped up, I put it all together just to take a look at it, and I double checked my measurements, and I realized I was about 5 inches too long on this table base. So I had to make some adjustments, and I'm cutting off about 2 inches on my base foot design. That's going to get me about 4 inches, or maybe a smidge more, and when I say a smidge, I mean a 16th. So I had to make some other adjustments in the middle support as well, but you get the point. Sometimes you make mistakes, not everything goes according to plan. After some extra bandsaw work because of my mess up, and some sanding to resand those pieces back down, I had to go back to the router table and put another roundover edge on all the base feet, because I cut off a good portion of it, and with all the sanding, I kind of took away from the roundover, and it's one of those things for me. I just wanted it to be symmetrical with all the other pieces, so I pretty much had to kind of start that all over again. But it's okay. After messing around with that middle support beam, which has a pretty good bit of weight to it, I might add, I kind of pulled my back a little bit. It doesn't hurt, but it feels awkward, but luckily I had my wife in the shop and she helped me with the rest of the work. But here's where I go wrong again. I'm looking at the piece and I said, wait a minute, I completely forgot about the sweeping beams in the middle of the table. So once again, I got to go back through the whole milling process, the glue up process, and get those middle pieces done. So I guess I'm fudging up a little bit more than normal. I've got a lot on my plate, I'm juggling a lot of projects at once, and I happen to be multitasking this woodworking challenge along with many other projects. So, I got to cut myself some slack. I have a lot on my plate. At least I'm having fun and I love doing what I do.
All right, I miscalculated on my math a little bit and forgot a couple of beams in the glue up. It's got a lot of sets. So we're going to go through that right now. I'm going to be using the Rockler glue roller. It's silicone rubber based here, so it's got easy cleanup. I love this thing. It's a game changer. And I'm also using these really cool rubber Rockler glue pads. Also easy cleanup on all my shop tables. So let's get going.
Lightning strikes by my window, hits my chest right in the morning, like a
And just like that, this video is a wrap. That was a super fun process, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, or at least at the minimum was able to get some inspiration out of it. But stay tuned, as I'll be dropping another video next week on this build, and you're not going to want to miss it.